I'm not doing well, folks. I live in a backpackers in Sydney. And I'm from here, so not part of the 5-year plan to be sharing a bunk bed with Julio. He's on the top going, I'm on the bottom listening to a podcast about how to be confident. That's a huge gap in moods to have that close. Like, I can literally see the outline of his horse cock coming through the front. I'm wearing blue light blocking goggles that I got early access to my super to because of the circadian rhythms. Just sitting next to a candle, brother. You know what I'm talking about. But he's coming in. He's like, "We're going to make spaghetti for dinner in the communal kitchen." Just this intercontinental conga line of. Where are you from, man? I grew up just there, okay? I've travelled 30 metres in the last 30 years, like a disabled turtle. Put me down, Francois. Like, just get a hammer and crack my shell so I can slither into the nearest Centrelink and get on the discounted pharmaceutical benefit scheme. Fentanyl, I'm microdosing it. But, you know... This is when you know you've hit rock bottom, when you've got roller luggage and you're not going to the airport. You're just walking around the CBD, just... Going to the domestic terminal? No, I'm going to sublet a bathroom in a McDonald's, okay? I'm going to use the nappy changing station as a standing desk for my Zoom conference calls. There's diarrhea on the wall. That's a Pollack painting. I'll sue you for defamation. I'm in a skyscraper, baby. But I'm not doing well, folks. I'll tell you that much. Getting bullied at an indoor rock climbing gym. It's where Dungeons and Dragons meets CrossFit, okay? It's where incels go to Excel. It's a great place to go if you want to wear a harness and be puppeteered by a virgin. Just... I was relaxing the other day, throwing lime bikes off a jetty, and that's how I chill. Sipping lighter fluid through a curly straw, it was nasty. I'm crippled by debt because I parked in a loading zone for 7 years, and people freak out about debt. I don't know why. It's not real. It's just like God. It's an Excel spreadsheet in the sky with negative numbers in it. It doesn't change the taste of your Eggs Benedict just because you owe Vodafone $5,000. It still tastes the same. No, it is real, eh? My trigger warning is seeing my full name on an envelope. But I was on the bus the other day and tragically it broke down. But luckily there was a bus replacement train. This might not have happened. I'm on the spectrum, obviously. My personality will be trickling out throughout the show. Like, I don't mean to cast aspersions, but 61, you know, like... I'm like the banana your mum packs in your lunchbox, permeates through, makes your sandwich taste like a Boost juice. You're like, oh, my ham and cheese tastes like a Bananarama, oh. I was diagnosed on the spectrum because when I watched the movie The Titanic, I empathised more with the boat. For me, 9/11 was just structural damage. Scaffolding is my spirit animal. I like the way it supports a building in the early stages of its development. Scaffolding's like tricycle wheels for a skyscraper. It's like, you can do it, PricewaterhouseCoopers building, fucking send it. But it's a thing now, guys. It's called neurodiversity, which means there's a diversity of brain types. So neurotypical, that's like being white. That's like you watch Ted Lasso, do meal prep, go to Cotton On just to Shazam the music. Don't you worry, child. What's this one called? I can't quite hear the lyrics. Nasty. Being neurotypical means you think the way Chris Hemsworth looks. I think the way Ronald McDonald looks. And I also look the way Ronald McDonald looks, which is a 2-for-1 meal deal for you guys in terms of working out what I'm about. So that's neurotypical. That's in the middle of the bell curve distribution. Then on the very end, you've got people who can smell prime numbers. 61, just headbutting mirrors, going to the Joker 8 times. Ticket for 2, 1 for me and 1 for the hammer. Because when you're watching that movie, every head looks like a nail. It's not relatable, but yeah, But no, even Woolworths acknowledges it's a thing now. Woolworths now has 1 hour of quiet time a week where they turn off all the music so the autistic people can go and get meagering without having a seizure. Which feels a little disrespectful, doesn't it? Just to set an hourglass and be like, scurrying like rats, okay? You got an hour before Nicki Minaj comes back on and your face plant into the avocado display. Gonna have to do an autopsy on this pile of space cadets that didn't get out in time. We used to cremate them on site, but if you inhale the fumes, you can't read social cues for a financial year, so Woolworths says they're providing a safe space for the nation's most vulnerable. Fuck off. There's a doomsday clock ticking in the background while I panic buy a Fibonacci sequence of items. You've created a fucking escape room for Rain Man. It's like if there was only 1 hour of wheelchair access a week. And then they raised that ramp like a drawbridge on a medieval castle. Just beep, beep, beep. Sorry, Gary, my liege, you're feeding windows over, my lord. After 12, it's a crawl space. I like to do medieval reenactment in the CBD because it upsets people. Do you ever see that? Just these grown men just dressed in full chain metal. Just going, stand down, squire, it's only a flesh wound, no need to apologise. Just these dorks impersonating the jocks of the 12th century. Do you think in 800 years nerds will be pretending to play State of Origin? But soon everyone's going to have autism because of the vaccine, and it's more of a slow-release drip feed. You'll see, 61, you'll find out. I can't wait, because Woolworths will be as quiet as a Tibetan monastery. It'll be the other way around. There'll be 1 hour of Buble for the 4 remaining Sky News viewers, just to... You go to Woolworths now, it's like a nightclub. Tonight's gonna be a great night. No, I'm trying to find batteries for my sleep apnea mask. I'm wearing a suit and a backpack. Things are not going well. Because the suit says you're going places, but the backpack says you've got 2 trains and a bus in your future. You're wearing your car, you loser. That's what it is. A backpack's just a car for losers. You're fucking full of used Tupperware because you can't afford food court sushi, dipstick. Just scanning the products. Beep. Beep. Unexpected item in the baggage area. If I was a baggage area, I would expect all items. You're a passive receptacle for objects. Get with the program. Stop sounding the bullhorn to summon the last human over to accuse me of stealing. I am, but it's a coincidence. So, like... Fucking goddamn it. See, I was mentally ill before Facebook. Now everyone's got it, but there's no term for us thoroughbreds that were out there in the 90s when you had to be an absolute weirdo to have it. You had to have a trench coat and black eyeliner and be listening to The Cure. Just now blokes can get it. It's cultural appropriation. It was supposed to be for nerds and women. Now football players are crying, fuck off, it's not for you. It's for people who start all their emails with sorry. When I was growing up, I got bullied for being a crybaby. Now it's the opposite. Be vulnerable, you soft cock. Fucking open up, mate, or I'll open up the back of your head, let the demons out. Trying to destigmatise the black dog, you dog cunt. I saw my high school bully, he had a neck tattoo of the number for Lifeline. He's like, open up and tell them about it. Now I'm sponsoring him for a Mullets for Mental Health fun run. It's time to re-stigmatise mental health. That's the thing, we love a vulnerable bloke because it's a charismatic contradiction, like a nimble fat guy or an intellectual on a skateboard. It brings you in. Like, I haven't seen that combination in the simulation. There's a glitch. Do you ever get so lonely you log into MyGov just to get a text? And the only reason I make plans with friends is because I'm paranoid they hate me. I'm like, hey man, you want to go to Grilled? They're like, yeah. I'm like, don't worry about it. I have all the information I need. I just want to know you like me so I can watch TV alone. I've got no interest. My psychiatrist said that anxiety can lead to depression. I wish it would hurry up. Anxiety's way worse. It's like a sushi train, just different dishes every day. Sashimi betrayal, teriyaki brain cancer. Me so scared. And you're just up 3 a.m, texting all your friends, we cool, just... Depression's way better. You're in your pyjamas, drinking custard out of the box in a Xanax haze. It's relaxing. No wonder people slit their wrists in a bubble bath. They're just like, let's send this to the next level, brother. Let's fucking send it. If it's so bad, why'd the Japanese name a forest after it? Usually my carer's tasing me by now. She's doing karaoke, the bitch. But that's her choice. She was asking if I wanted to go to an escape room. I'm like, no, I can just eat buffalo wings without a napkin and try and turn a doorknob. I was one of those leash kids, remember that? It doesn't affect you, hey? It doesn't affect... 61. Have you noticed the more genetic problems a dog has, the fancier it is? Like if it's got breathing problems, the owner went to a private school. I think because it's in bad taste to have a Ferrari now, you just got to be like, yeah, I can afford to keep a Pomeranian bulldog on dialysis, I'm killing it. I got a litter of asthmatic pugs at home, yeah. I got a Labradoodle on enough Prozac to save Anthony Bourdain. Do you think when aliens come and take over, they'll do the same? They'll be like, fuck Chris Hemsworth, I want the guy with the sleep apnea mask. See that guy on the mobility scooter with all the flags of the UN on it? That's mine, Trevor. He's a rescue. I don't even need to pick up his shit because he's got a colostomy bag, so it's a 2-for-1 meal deal. But I'm not doing well, folks, I'll tell you that much. I just got banned from Airbnb for renovating and I tried to use Afterpay at a brothel and like it just doesn't... Man, do you ever go to a cafe? You know they have that baked goods display? There'll always just be one fly. I always go to the barista, I'm like, why are there Danishes in the fly enclosure? You know, to build a rapport. I've never talked to anyone, but I don't even have the self-esteem to have a dietary requirement. I see someone say they're gluten-free, I'm like, he believes in himself. This guy, more boundaries than a surveyor. I'm not an assertive person. I could be really thirsty. I'll be at a friend's place. I won't ask directly for a glass of water. I'll just be like, do you ever swivel that tap? What? I hate confident people. All my friends have anxiety disorders, which is great, because if you do a no-show, they think it's their fault. They blame themselves. They're like, maybe I shouldn't have even been born. But we hate that fly. Remember the fly? Because it's just hovering over the cupcake, making it all disgusting. It does nothing. It's unemployed. Love the bee, though. Yeah? Because it's out there, pollinating jacarandas. Fly in, fly out. FIFO. It's a fly in high-vis. Now, if flies started cleaning up dog shit as opposed to hovering over it, we'd start respecting them and it'd be illegal to spray them. The only difference between animal cruelty and pest control is the work ethic of the insect. And you know the insect known as the wasp? I'm not talking about white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. I'll be explaining the subtext as we go along. I'm talking about the insect. It's got all the unemployment of the fly and all the violence of the bee, just in the worst corporate merger of all time. It's just... A wasp is like that construction worker that's been sacked, but they're still hanging around. Just, yeah, I used to work for Rio Tinto. But you think of all these creatures. You think of the bee. They've got a hive. That's nice. Bit of community. Even the wasp, as debauched a creature as it is, still has a nest. More of a share house turned into a meth lab vibe, but nonetheless, a community. Then you look at the fly, no headquarters. Freelancing, they're sole traders. Air tasker, doing tasks in the air. There's a piece of dog shit on Kent Street, get to it boys. They're all just knocking each other out of the way, there's no camaraderie. And if they die in transit, no one investigates. Like a Deliveroo. But yeah, so that's... But it's weird. Like, this is how I like to relax. I like to just go to like a 5-star hotel and just loiter in the lobby. Yeah, I don't know if you've done that, but you're allowed to do that. Everyone here is allowed to go to a 5-star hotel and just loiter in the lobby. And I went there and it's just, you know, there's complimentary pastries, there's a beautiful chandelier, but no one's touching them because it's just CEOs and hedge fund managers going, oh, I'll circle back to you, CC in the invoice. That's the tragedy. The rich are too busy to enjoy the wealth they're created. But you give a bogan a voucher to a buffet. They'll be like, they're not allowed to stop us, brother. Every rich person should be assigned a bogan on a leash just to enjoy the wealth they're too busy creating. Like a truffle pig for pleasure. Take him to the conference. This is Gary, my +1. He'll just be hoovering up the hors d'oeuvres. Going, how good are these oysters? Apparently they make your dick hard. Don't have to write a gratitude diary anymore. They can just watch Gary slurp scallops out of a trough and squeal in ecstasy. Do you ever write a gratitude diary because your dopamine receptors are so fucked you have to gaslight yourself into enjoying your shit life? Went to Grilled with Philip, it was fun to build a rapport. Just end it, it's over. Turn it into a suicide note, it's more honest, commit. Isn't it funny, if you gaslight someone else, it's abuse. Gaslight yourself, it's a gratitude diary. Like, imagine reading your gratitude diary out to someone else as if it was them. You're like, yeah, you enjoyed going to Nando's, didn't you? Admit it, I saw you licking the peri-peri off your lips, you dog. What do you do for a living?
Tour guide.
Prawns and pistachio nuts have the same labour to enjoyment ratio. Milk and gender have both had an explosion in new flavours recently. No, I worked in an office for a day and for an hour, and everyone in finance wears a Patagonia jacket because they're fantasising about climbing their screensaver. And I don't know. It's not for, you're just in a swivel chair developing scoliosis, just moving currencies around that aren't even real. You never know when you've done enough with an office job, you know? You go to a bar afterwards, you're just by yourself drinking a beer, just watching Schindler's List on an Apple Watch. It's low-key. You know, because they're getting emails like, oh, it's Tokyo time, waking up in flop sweats. Circadian rhythms are all mucked up. But you see construction workers, they're doing 120 in a school zone. Dudes in high-vis just revving their engines at the lights because they've clocked off. They're celebrating. It takes the endorphin rush of manual labour to get the confidence to yell gay cunt out of a youth. That's stress relief for them. That's their adult colouring in book. You can't intimidate someone in an electric hybrid that powers down at the lights to save the environment. You just go, it doesn't match. It's like a sommelier pairing a Shiraz with a Krispy Kreme. That was an analogy for no one, apparently. These laughs are as scattered as my granddad's ashes. I just watched him get cremated on Zoom, but I was playing Tetris during the eulogy. It was disrespectful, okay? I admit it. Once again, they're scattered. What is this, a Groupon thing? I've never seen so many different demographics not united by a thing. There's a fucking tour guide next to a skinhead. Like, this is such a Groupon algorithm. It's like, do you want cheap tickets? That's what happens. It's bring them together, boy. Fucking nasty-ass crowd. Yeah, you know, have you guys heard of the cold plunges? Yeah, they're good for you, eh? Cold plunges, that's right. Yeah, they get the blood flowing if you do an ice bath. It's good for your heart rate. Yeah, get in an ice bath. It's going to just get your immune system going, blood through your system. But do you guys remember the Titanic? Yeah, I know it was a movie, but it happened as well, so it's a 2-for-1 meal deal. But remember that bit where it hit the iceberg? Allegedly? And they were all in the water. For a brief period, they were actually getting healthier. They died in peak condition. When Leonardo DiCaprio turned blue, he was in the best shape of his life. Imagine if he'd had an Apple Watch, it wouldn't have known what was going on. It would have been like, your skin's glistening, Leo, from the collagen production, you're doing very well. Oh, there's been a steep drop-off, mate, what happened here? But imagine if they yanked you out of the the Titanic, because it was real, but imagine if they yanked you out just at the right time. Yeah, so you got all the benefits of the cold plunge, you'd end up living longer than you would have if you'd never been involved. That doesn't happen with other tragedies. My uncle survived 9/11 and got his 10,000 steps. The lifts were busy, I don't know if you heard. They were on fire. Oh, shit. Man, you don't hear about the mafia anymore, do you? There's no segues here because of what happened, but it's an acquired brain injury for one, aisle 3. But when it comes to chromosomes, less is more. But yeah, But the mafia, they're not around anymore. I think because they ate too many carbs. Like, they're carb loading every day with the fettuccine. The garlic bread, carb on carb, like cannolis, just custard wrapped in spaghetti. And then they're making life or death decisions. If I eat a carbonara at a restaurant, I have to lie down on the floor. I can't even deal with Netflix. I'm like, Antique Roadshow, fucking, you know, like I'm processing a linguine down here. They had to decide whether to dangle Giuseppe off a bridge or stoop their Goomba with their blood glucose fluctuating like the NASDAQ during a financial crisis. Meanwhile, terrorists, say what you want about them, but they're out there doing things. They're hijacking planes. The Taliban took over in a day. Because they're on hummus. Slow-release lentils, okay? They're doing Ramadan, intermittent fasting. They were in ketosis when they stormed Fallujah. It's not even a real place. It's in Wizard of the Oz. Wizard of the Oz, that's not real. The Wizard of Oz. Fuck. Get the cattle prods out, Karen. Get them out. That'll do, pig. Clever girl. Yeah, I've never seen a movie, I could be watching any movie, you put a gun to my head, say what's happening, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. I was just ruminating about a barista that disrespected me, and I didn't do anything about it because I'm a coward. I found that out when I went to the beach with my family, saw a shark and kept it a secret. But I got this friend, he's into the wellness. He likes wellness, you know. He's on goji berries, acai bowls. He's got the green juices going all the time. And people think he's healthy just because he puts that into his system. But I know that he's not, because I've seen his blood work, and like, don't ask how I saw it, but yeah, and he has a weak constitution. Like, if he doesn't drink green juices, he's gonna die. But Keith Richards, he's in a band, and heroin for 40 years. Fell out of a coconut tree, got an acquired brain injury, still doing cocaine into his 80s. Health's not what you put in, it's the resilience of the container. Put Keith Richards on the cover of Men's Health. He can have a resistance band wrapped around his forearm so he can get the veins pumping for 10 reps of heroin over here, baby. He can snort his firstborn's ashes, activated charcoal, motherfucker. Keith Richards is a corrugated tin shed that thrives when you pour asbestos into it. My friend had to get his stomach pumped at a wine and cheese. Like, that's healthier, isn't it? Isn't it, guys, yeah? Oh, yeah? We're a quarter of the way through, and like... Front row's been giving me the straight-faced emoji for the last 10 minutes. If there was a rate your experience kiosk, you just press the one in the middle. I felt nothing at the library. I'm on too much diazepam, so I feel nothing everywhere, but I felt nothing here too, and I thought someone should know about it, neutral. I was indifferent about the bathroom in the Singapore airport. The urinals failed to elicit an emotion, neutral. That's my favourite one, the straight-faced emoji. For people who feel nothing but are still motivated enough to share feedback. You ever go to Fishbowl? It's good, eh? You get to customise your own bowl, choose your own protein. Is there any more dystopian phrase in the English language than choose your protein? It sounds like the last decision the robots will let us make. They'll be like, choose your protein, move to the next window. And we'll be grateful. We'll be like, how good is it how you get to choose your own protein? I enjoy having a bit of autonomy in the gulag. I was on the fence about my protein. Neutral. I don't give a fuck if the robots take over. I'm autistic. They'll hire me as an interpreter. They'll be like, why do they cry? Yeah, I've got no idea, eh? I just look like them. That's where it begins and ends, okay? I need an interpreter. I haven't understood a metaphor since I got the booster shot. All I'm seeing is indistinct chatter. No, but do you ever be watching a movie with subtitles? It'll come up with indistinct chatter. Even if you're deaf, who cares? Like, it's as if the person writing them is like, even if you could hear this, you wouldn't be able to. No one can hear this bit. We're all in the same boat. Builds a sense of community across all hearing levels. It's like taking a blind guy to a black hole. Nothing to see here, mate, just a complete absence of everything. If you want to hold my hand, you can howl into the void, it's over. Rathy's here. It's a callback to a joke I haven't done yet, but yeah, Fucking hell. I'm doing my set in reverse time. I'm the Benjamin Button of my own... Do you guys remember dumb nerds from school? You know, they'd have glasses, but then they'd be like... Yeah. Dumb nerds get bullied, and in America they do these school shootings, which I think are inappropriate. But dumb nerds can't do that here because of gun laws. They have to join a medieval reenactment group. No need to apologise, my lord, it's only a flesh wound. Inside every one of them is a rain of bullets restrained by legislation. Smart nerds, they get bullied, they move to Silicon Valley, build a robot to replace their bully's forklift driver job. You excluded me from handball, I've ostracised you from the global economy. It's over, Gary, you're irrelevant. And then Gary's got no self-esteem, he gets hooked on fentanyl, ends up turning the gun on himself. No, it's a long-term school shooting. Like you invest. It's the superannuation of revenge. It's a long... And then at the very end you outsource. That was his head. I don't usually do impressions, but that... But Google's free, eh? But the thing with Google, it's free, but they know everything about you. So your privacy is the currency. But I just wish you could buy other products by telling people deeply personal information. You just go to the cafe, you're like, yeah, I got a micro penis. It's free now. You've actually overpaid with that, so throwing an almond croissant because I got herpes. You can have the whole cafe. This is... Now you're the owner-operator of a Starbucks. But people complain about targeted ads. They're like, ooh, I mentioned Adidas and then I got an ad for a shoe. It wouldn't be exactly like that, but like, at least they've got a target. Like at least they've got a sniper rifle just pointed at your subconscious. TV commercials had no respect for my interests. I'm 6 years old getting ads for renovations, funeral homes. You're not even getting into the bowl. You're pissing all over the floor. Targeted ads are custom designed to my needs. I'm getting ads for extra small condoms. Skin cancer support groups. Like, you hit the bullseye, Bezos. Oh, they're spying on me. At least they're listening. Your husband doesn't give a fuck. He's on Grindr hanging out with me at Grilled eating zucchini chips. Shit. Because he's a nasty-ass motherfucker. But the thing that really annoys me about tech startups is just how relaxed they are. You know, like with the hammocks, the tie-dye V-necks, the ping pong. A little too casual for what they've done. Destroyed everyone's attention span, ruining democracy. Wear a suit. Do you think Hitler went around in board shorts and rollerblades, playing hacky sack with Leni Riefenstahl? No, he wore a suit because he respected the gravity of his crimes. No, I don't agree with what he did. I'm just saying he dressed appropriately. There's a dress code to your evil. I don't agree with what Dracula was up to. He was sucking blood out of women's necks, and I thought that was inappropriate. I was just raised to believe that behaviour was wrong. But he wore a cape. That's the dress code to that type of behaviour. He wasn't wearing a Hawaiian shirt with a mojito, just, don't you worry, child. Oh, God, but I'm not... No, I'm doing all right. I just joined the Mile High Club. Yeah, had a wet dream on a trampoline. That was premature over there. But, you know, like, it went in early and then it was pa-pa. It was pa-pa-pa-pa down. But, yeah, I was on the airline Emirates. Yeah. And the seats recline the most furthest. Yeah, you didn't know that, but yeah. They have, like, a rich cornucopia of entrees, a veritable tapestry of mains, and a wide variety of desserts. Some of the widest selection of options on any modern aeronautical vessel. But when it comes to Emirates, the airline, your freedom drops dramatically when you land in the country. Like the sky to land ratio of freedom plummets dramatically when you land in Emirates. It's Shiraz in the sky, Sharia in Dubai. That's a bit of a limerick for the Irish people in the crowd. Jetstar's the opposite. They're trying to weigh your bag, you're hiding behind a pillar like Anne Frank. Because your bag's a kilo over, you only got $7 left. You try and take Pringles off the tray, she's trying to cut your fucking hand off, you piece of shit. But then you land and you can shoplift and it's fine, so that's cool. That's what we'd like to see and that'd be nice. God damn it. Nasty. Oh, guys. Imagine if there was a fantasy portal from another world and an elf came through right now. You'd be like, you don't belong in this realm. This is a clear realm violation. If an orc came through, you'd be like, I just saw your colleague from the Enchanted Forest, the elf. What's going on here? This is unbelievable. This bit goes for 7 hours, by the way, so it's going to make Lord of the Rings look like a fucking TikTok. But yeah, I hope you're familiar with folklore, but imagine if there was a fantasy portal and a dwarf came through. You'd be like, yeah, we've already got you. Visiting or returning? Like you'd have to check, you know, like customs, like Form 2Qs, like you're a resident or you're a tourist, you know, we've got to... Fantasy authors are crazy. It's the only mythological character that's just a regular dude. Like a dwarf in Narnia is a dwarf in Redfern. There's no difference. Do you think a wizard's ever hanging out with a dwarf? They're just looking at a crystal ball. He's like, yeah, you know there's a parallel universe where you can get the disability pension? I mean, you don't have to slay dragons for gold. They'll just give it to you. So, like, you can teleport, baby. But my parents, they're always trying to get me to go to, like, Othello, King Lear, Hamlet. And I'm like, no, I'm good at it. I can just get the train and see some meth head have the most hectic conversation on loudspeaker of just Shakespearean levels of paranoia and drama. You tried to poison me, you dog. I trusted you and you turned your back on me just as I was down. He's holding a skull, reminds me of my dad. It's a possum skull from an electrical incident, but it's the same vibe. He's with one of the witches from Macbeth, just whispering shit in his ear, getting him all riled up. He did betray you, stab him. Instead of a cauldron, she's got a Yui boom, just blasting Skrillex on the quiet carriage, making everyone uncomfortable. Don't you worry, child. There's a guy headbutting a payphone. Why have you forsaken me? They should tap all payphones, record all the conversations and release it as an audio book called McMeth. Then maybe I could get some REM sleep. I haven't slept for 4 years. That's why this is happening. They come up to you out of the street, these characters. Slings and arrows of misfortune, nangs and durries cost a fortune. Meth heads are like bridge trolls because they speak in riddles and block your path. And if you don't solve them, you get hepatitis. They're like, you, me and 3 hobgoblins stole Mr. Magoo's wand, yes? And you're trying to calculate the best response that's going to minimise the situation. You're like, maybe if I participate in his version of reality, he'll appreciate that and let me pass into the gentrified zone. So I can go to Fishbowl. You're like, yeah, I remember. He's like, wrong, motherfucker. God damn it. I dropped acid before this and I'm still trying to find it and People offer me acid oil. I'm like, I'm already tripping. You don't bring paprika to Sandeep's Curry Hut. It's spicy enough. Man, we glorify serial killers now. Eh? There's no segues here. You know? Like, remember Ted Bundy? They got Zac Efron to play him. That's not right. Serial killing's the only crime where you get a glow up. When I got caught stealing a Yabby pump from Aldi, they just released the CCTV footage. They didn't hire Chris Hemsworth to reenact it. And now they go into the origin story of these sick puppies. You know, they go right back on the backstory. They're like, yeah, he had a weird relationship with a frog when he was 6. So you start empathising with them. You're like, yeah, I get it, brother. If I had a weird relationship with a frog when I was 6, I'd also store my co-worker's torso in a barrel of acid and dissolve it. Jeffrey Dahmer's got a better chance of redemption than Ellen DeGeneres. That's the problem with Ellen. She didn't go far enough. She stopped at bullying. She should have cut him up into tiny pieces. Then people would visit her in prison and watch her dance through the plexiglass, just with the sticker-skewered heads swiveling around like a kebab spit. That's Ellen, my Ellen, baby. I love you. You're a monster. You're my monster. Voldemort's got a better chance of a comeback than the woman who created him. She who must not be named. Because I think it's better to dismember than misgender. You can't microdose evil, you've got to double drop. If you make a faux pas at a party, just eat everyone there. Because then they'll make a documentary about it. They'll be like, he was hangry. I don't know what noise that was, but I feel like a farmer whose animals are turning against him, but... Remember that movie? But you know President Zelensky? I love this guy. I'd love to have a fling with Zeling. Because of the way he looks. My friends call me Finocchio because the more I lie about being gay, the harder my dick gets. I'm like, I like pussy, boy. That was as hard to do as it was to listen to. That's a free trade agreement. But he's at peak hero, Zelensky. Like, it can only go down from there. One mistake. You know, when you're at peak hero, like, he'll be rude to a waiter. Someone will film it, it'll be like, bye-bye, Zelensky, bye now. Meanwhile, Putin will get diagnosed with ADHD, and we'll be like, that's why he did it, I guess. One of the symptoms is an ex in Crimea now. He'll release a book, Mein Kampf, My Struggle with Focus. How I Conquered the Ukraine and my ADHD. It'll be a... I'm still trying to work out who the coward is in the coward punch thing. Because on the one hand, you've got a guy who's willing to risk it all. His reputation, a prison sentence, a job at Nando's, probably. All just to hit a stranger for absolutely no reason. And on the other hand, you've got a guy who dies from one punch. What a pussy. You know, like... Who's the coward in this situation? The guy who achieved what Mike Tyson couldn't? Or Humpty Dumpty head slumped on the sidewalk like a rag doll? I prefer when it was called a king hit, because it takes a king of a bloke to down another with one foul swoop. More like the brave special punch, but yeah, I don't work in marketing, you're a consultant, let's make it happen. Yeah, that's the end of the show, and it's actually finished. No, it technically is finished. Yeah, thank you. Old white guys are rarely on the fence when it comes to Asian people. Have you noticed that? They either hate them or they're married to one. But there's benefits. They don't have to meet each other's parents. He's died in the 18th century and he killed hers in the Vietnamese War. So that's... But yeah, if you could clap so I could leave. And